Good morning. How is everybody doing today? Let me just get everything lined up. I wanted to jump on to talk about this new potential we have for co-creating and collaborating to make quite an incredible healing and education oasis. And also how that we are going to look at the choices of treatments. So what did I do? I went to all the people that I work with, that I know that are trying to heal themselves, either along with the system or separate from the system. Very similar to what Kelly Turner did, where she looked at everybody who had what you call a radical remission. And sorry, I need to just remove something from there. And the people that defied the odds, the miracles, as some people like to call them. And how did they do that? And how can we share this information? So it was really interesting for me to talk to people and create the list of what it is that they need, or they perceive that they need, either in the past or in the present. People who have had treatment, who are also doing a lot of things on their own, and who are looking for information and looking for a community. So this is really, really important in terms of how we are going to move forward. Now, I think a lot of people feel completely safe in the current system, and that's fantastic. And this is probably not for you. It's much more about what if you're not feeling safe? What if you're actually looking for other ways? Where do you go if you don't have a lot of money? And how do we get this information out to as many people as possible? And how do you know what and who to trust? Who's not trying to sell you something? Because this is the other issue, isn't it? It's who's trying to sell you something, and if you maybe do not have a lot of money, where do you go? How do you know? And it's confusion and fear, and it can be a very, very challenging time, and not just for the person diagnosed, but for the people who are surrounded by them. And this is why we have to look at a much more holistic overview, an overview of holistic overview completely with in terms of your nutrition, every single thing that you do that has an influence over your cells, whether you like it or not. This is where we're going now. We're realizing that there is no one size, no one thing that that destroys your health. There's a whole load of different things that are having an impact. Facebook is so annoying. I'm trying my hardest to find out. Oh, here we go. Isn't that good? Right. Okay, that's grand. So I'm just trying to get this shared in the relevant platforms. So if we're looking at a holistic overview on what can help you to heal, and part of that is not just the people, the place, where can you go? Because our environment, our internal environment interacts with our external environment. And I think, a lot of people are completely aware of that. So where is the right environment for us to be? And if you have an incurable or terminal or a chronic autoimmune situation where you're just overwhelmed, you'd like to get the best information, you don't know who to trust, you don't know where to go. Right now, unless you have a lot of money, unless you're surrounded by a lot of people that are very switched on, that can be even worse than just believing that there is one size fits all. Because the confusion and around our choices can cause stress, which makes a bad situation worse. So let me just show you the chart of emotions, which this is from the Sedona method, and because I've been teaching this stuff for a long time, when people interact with me, this is all that I feel. What emotion are they in? Because how you feel, let me get this up on the bigger screen. So if you're in apathy, you're dejected, hopeless, defeated, there's no point, negative, powerless. And that's very often what you can feel if you've been ill for a long time, if you've been diagnosed and given the voodoo curse, as Joe Dispenza calls it. I can't, I won't, I'm doomed, it's no use. I know that very often happens. You go into that place. Maybe you're in grief, you feel abandoned. And, let's talk about cancer treatment. So maybe you're told that it's stage 4 or it's terminal, or maybe it's a horrible autoimmune that they say is incurable with a very grim looking potential future. Then grief can come in. Obviously, you feel like you're a victim. You don't understand what the body's doing. You feel guilty. Is it my fault? You're lost. Where do you go? And so it starts off with the thinking, and then the feelings, and then the behaviour. So you're helpless, you're moping, you're needy, you're dramatic. And, it's really, really helpful to understand this, because we live in a subjective, not objective reality. So when we are in these emotions, we look out and we see things very differently from somebody who's in a very different state. So if you're scared, insecure, exposed, you don't trust, you're skeptical. So when people come to me, that's very often where they are. They're skeptical, but what diet and how do I know if letting go is going to work? And, because you're trying to learn all of this stuff from a place of fear, grief, apathy, and you'll go in and out these states. You'll be hesitant, defensive, confused. All of us, every single human being on this planet. And these are usually very easy to identify when somebody comes at you, somebody attacks you, or somebody doesn't trust you. It's because of these feelings. And then you move up into lust, anger, and pride. Lust again, greedy, ambitious, insatiable, there's never enough, jealous, measuring how many likes and you're going to take from me. You want to understand you're needy, you're starving, you want to stay because it's safety, right? Addictive, manic, underhand, intense, manipulative, selfish. All of these come into play. We all go through these things. We all have an emotional guidance system within us. I'll talk a little bit about the fascia and how that interacts with this. Then anger. Don't tell me what to do. Do it my way. I'll never give in. You're in my way. You're disturbed, you're stern, willful, explosive, malicious, and resentful. And we see this a lot now. Bringing other people down in order to make your point. Attacking others. Pushy, exacting, my way or the highway, resistant, inflexible, and stubborn. And when you're in that anger, you cannot see somebody else's point of view. And then pride, which is one of the trickier ones, because I remember saying in front of my friend Karen Kopecki, who's a very experienced psychologist and Sedona method coach, she said, "Oh, you're in pride." When I'd said I would never treat them like that. She said, "You're in pride, you're superior. I'm so much better than you. I know so much more than you. You're judgmental. You're aloof. Keep away from me. You're too stupid to be communicated with. Rigid, uncompromising. And you're not like them. You're different from everybody else." So there's arrogance, hypocrisy, dogmatic, stoic, gloating, false humility. And you see this a lot around people's decisions over the last 5 years, what they chose to put in or not put in their body. And I was certainly amongst that, having very personal experience when my brother collapsed after his third vaccine. I was initially like, I told you so. I told you not to take it. And then you realise it's not about that. It's soul choices and journeys are different. And that by going in with that energy, you make more separation, more judgment. And you're saying that you're better than them because you didn't take it, which, whether that's right or wrong, is judgment. So when you move up into these higher levels of awareness, courage, acceptance, peace. Now I'm getting to why this is important in terms of your choices over your treatments. So you're focused, grounded, assured, alive, eager, resilient. We can work together. It can be easy and effortless, and I'm willing to take risks. And that's a huge thing. People don't want to take risks with their life. Who would? What treatment's the right one for me? What treatment's the right one for me? And everybody will have a different opinion in that. And that's what can make this so, so challenging, because that just adds to your confusion. And then you get everybody piling on, even all the healers and leaders, with my way is the right way. And what we know now is there's literally hundreds of different ways and things that you can choose. And the only person that knows what's right for you is you. Now, can you be assisted and guided? Absolutely. But anybody that's telling you they know better than you is not coming from a place of humility. What we want to do is we want to help you tune in and listen. And Angela Trainor, on the first of our Fantastic Four talks, said that she would tune in to every choice that she had to make. And there can be a lot of choices that you're making. And tune in, and you feel with your inner guidance system what is the right choice for you. And what a good leader or teacher will do is will lay out the evidence and help you, guide you through the absolute overwhelm that natural healing is, because it is not easy, I'll tell you that, but it's going to get easier once we co-create this healing centre and this community of people who are choosing the road less travelled, and that's what we're going to do. So in acceptance, attuned, that's the thing, tune, you're an instrument of consciousness. So if somebody's attacking you and telling you you don't know and you have to listen to me, move away. The best, anybody who's been in hospital that will know that maybe the person that helped the most was the person that poured the tea, that was kind and listened, and they came away feeling better, because there'll be a lot of egos. There can be, I'm not saying there always is, because there's good and bad in every single one of us, that has brought out the kindness in you, because what's coming up now is it's not about how much you know and how brilliant you think you are. And I know this because I've spent a lot of money and a lot of time studying things that absolutely do not matter. Because if I cannot inspire you to make changes, it doesn't matter how clever I am, how much study I've done, or anybody on this planet, doesn't matter how many degrees you've got, what your postcode is, what your watch is, none of that matters if you don't have the community. Now, if you have an hour with me or 2 hours with me or any other brilliant healer, and there are loads of them out there, you still got to go home and have the other 6 days and 23 hours by yourself. And this is why it has to be addressed at this community level. And this is what we're going to do. So we're starting off just looking at, we've got this incredible software, the community, where we can start to put people who are respectful. I'm not having people who are rude and dogmatic and arrogant in it. We can't have it. It's too challenging, this world. We need people that are kind and gentle and come with solutions and healthy debates, and not up from a place of the ego. When you get into peace, awareness, calm, centered, free, fulfilled, light and complete, and you're connected, serene, composed, witnessing, poised and infinite, this is ultimately where we all want to be coming from. And Elaine in the Fantastic Four talks, if you can join the community and you can watch it, it's in there, said that she completely trusts her body now. She's not had any treatment. And that's, she will tell you herself, that is not an easy road to take. But if you see the body very differently, and this is something I'm interested in for people of strong faith, people who believe in God and that we were created in his image, why would you think you would need all of these other things to heal? And why would you not truly believe that in God? And also that then brings me to the subconscious beliefs. So let me get this out the way. I'll take this down for now. Because what we're looking at here in this centre, now not everybody's going to believe this yet, or see this, or want to know this yet. And very often, if you're in treatment, whatever that treatment is, just get through the treatment. Because it can be difficult, it can be challenging. And if you get somebody like me coming in and saying, are you doing this, are you doing this, are you doing this, it can make a difficult, challenging time more difficult. And we don't want to do that. That's why we have to be really mindful about what we're saying. So if we start to look at the body, now this is the stuff that I'm teaching right now, with the love tuners and with heart coherence and with understanding frequency, the frequency of the heart. And there's play here. So it's not 528, it's 527. For the details people, there's a play here, right? So there's this, just call it 528 for now, which is the love tuner. We have microtubules that run through our cells. We are affected by sound. I think everybody knows that. Even from you were a teenager, you would know the music you wanted to put on a Friday night when you were going out, the music when you were heartbroken. Music affects the body. I'm pretty sure everybody knows that. Maybe to what degree we didn't fully understand before. So what we're moving into is the new frontier of medicine, which is energy medicine. Everything pretty much that we're doing is mimicking nature. Had a fantastic talk with a therapist up at the Health Hub in Quarriers the other day, and she was giving this woman Reiki, and she recommended that she take her dog into the forest under the canopy of the trees as part of her healing. Now, you don't need to have a degree to tell people that if you understand the power of nature, the light, the elements, and how the body will recalibrate. And this is the thing that I love. This stuff that we teach, Scotland's Wild Medicine, is accessible to everybody. And the understanding of it and talking from the heart, where you genuinely care about people, you're not trying to build a business, you're just trying to get the information that humans need out to humans. Now, a lot of people won't understand the power of the trees. I didn't. Tree huggers and hippies, you'd just be like, aye, right. No idea that I was an energy system, an ecosystem, that the trees actually giving off phytoncides to warn us and to heal us. And then back in the day when we lived with nature, we understood that the trees were critical to our long-term health and happiness. And now we don't understand that. We cut the trees down and every single thing that lives on and in them gets destroyed in our complete ignorance. And I don't think, generally speaking, people are that bad. There are a lot of really evil at play here. I don't think any of us can deny that. But when we start to really tune into this here is our absolute powerhouse. This is the intuition. This is receiving information from the field. And these toroidal fields, when we allow them to flow uninhibited, healing happens, regardless of the food and the water. Sorry to say it. I'm doing myself out of business here. This is where we're going. Faith. That faith has to start with the faith in your body. And our current system terrifies you of your body. And we've allowed that to happen. We have to play a very, very active part in what's going on right now. If we understand that we're a field of energy, energetic, magnetic, intelligent, the body made itself. You started with a divine spark. The cell came to life. And the cell divided and divided and divided and then created you. I don't know who did that, right? Something something way more intelligent than us, created this body, this digestive system, this reproductive system. The fascia, the body's internet system. Oh my God, it's so fascinating. The vagus nerve, the brain. I mean, it's just all beyond intelligent. And somewhere along the line, somebody started telling us that we needed things for it to be complete, for it to heal. Now, I don't know where if you cut yourself, it'll heal. Everybody knows that. But I don't know where along the line we thought, well, that'll heal, but that won't. Incurable, terminal, aggressive. I mean, all that language. When you understand the nature of the body, the nature of consciousness, and the sacred geometry of the body, and what happens to your sacred geometry when you go into terror at a diagnosis, a prognosis, how you literally shatter the geometry that you are because of what somebody else has told you, somebody else's beliefs, and very often outdated, limiting beliefs. Why is that not moving? Here we go. So the heart is obviously playing an enormous part in this story. How do you know what treatment is right for you? Now, when my cousin was diagnosed, she said to me, and Angela Trainer is very honest about this as well, sometimes you get given such a heavy load, you simply cannot deal with it. And it's much easier just to do what you're told. I totally get that. Do this, do this. And when I gave my cousin a list of questions, the oncologist sat in her bed and said, I'm going to be completely honest with you. Nobody's ever asked these questions before. And what we have is not perfect, but it's all we've got. And this is really what we're talking about now. It's not all we've got. But in the current system that is led by the pharmaceutical model, it is all we've got. And that is ultimately what Heal Scotland is about, what we're setting about to do, is to expand what's on offer based on what you... Now, I've asked everybody and I've already come up with a list, and we can quite easily provide what's needed, quite easily provide it. Exactly how it's going to look, I'm not 100% sure yet. This is evolving. You know that I'm big into energy medicine, and what they have at the Health Hub is far infrared. They have a red light bed. They have PMF, but the state-of-the-art one. We have AMP coils, which work. But the kind of downfall, if there is a downfall, is that the regular use of the energy medicine, which is required to get the result over a period of time. And none of these machines, none of this technology can fix you. But what it can do, so you can't rock up and just go, I'll have a far infrared sauna and that's it. And then I'll go out and trash other people, trash myself, eat a whole load of crap, etc. And there's a magic bullet out there, because there isn't. The body, we are living in this body, and it requires intelligence, it requires listening, it requires mindfulness to really pick up on what it is that your body needs. So, for example, I'm hugely into German new medicine, the Hamer conflicts, and letting go. There's no secret there. But in order often for you to be brave enough to look at your past and to look at your habits and to be 100% honest with yourself, if not with me, that takes a level of maturity and consciousness. And very often people don't want to go there. So we can start with very simple things like get into the forest. I loved my forest bathing with Hugh Asher. He's going to be in Strontian, so come along if you can and experience that. And how my body felt after 3 days at the festival is just like, whoa, that space that opens up, and I know that stuff. And going to my own festival got me back into that state. So we know what to do. We have incredible information, and all we're doing is taking straws off the camel's back. And you deserve, and absolutely, it's a right of the human being to have this information accessible to you, regardless of how much you earn or how much money you have in the bank or how much studying you've done. And that's really what the Heal Scotland message is about, is to bring this information to you, all the stuff that you can do for free. And then, because there's so many people sick right now and so many people are stuck in their homes, we're looking at that too. How can we bring a little healing spa into your home? What would the cost be to that? And how can we support you from that place until you're well enough to come out? Because, and maybe, just maybe, the most important thing on the planet is faith. Your faith in something higher than yourself. And if you read Kelly Turner's book, you'll know that 7 out of the 9 steps for defying the odds are all in here. Radically change your diet. Herbs and supplements were 2 of the steps, and the other 7 are all community, strong social support network, and that's one of the main things that we're going to create. Because currently, if you say no to what's on offer, you'd be a pariah, and you may get treated really badly. Not always. There's some good stories coming out now, because I think more and more people, as we shift the paradigm and shift the way people are looking at the body, and as more and more people are being taking the drugs at 30 pills a day and realising it's not working, they're looking for other ways as we're waking up. Because I do believe that we're wakening, we're remembering, right? I don't think the big man or whoever it is really thought, do you know what, let's make lots of people rich so that you can get healthy. I just can't see that was ever going to be a thing. So I believe that we can heal using none of my technology or anybody's technology or anybody else's experiences. I believe it's within us. But until we get that level of confidence and level of belief, we need to share. Our community, if you watch the Blue Zones, it's clear, well, apart from the fact it's sunny weather, natural light is our best medicine. The sun is the doctor in the sky. The elements, the interaction, what has happened in the West is we have cut ourselves off from the elements, and we've drawn ourselves into a fake space. And now, of course, we're using fake sunlight. We're taking the rays from the sun that don't tan us. We're taking the oxygen from the trees and we're putting it in. But that's where we're at right now. And also, I know, because there's people that have been diagnosed incurable who, well, I believe everything, and don't take it from me, take it from Dr. Brian Clements from the Hippocrates Institute. There is no disease that has a name that he has not seen healed. But you need to have courage and conviction, and you're walking that road very often on your own. If you've got a ton of money, you can go and stay there for 25 grand a week. That's crazy. And there's a huge placebo to that as well. It's like, if I'm doing things, then I'm going to get better. And even when I did the Gerson therapy, I thought, how much of this is placebo when you take all the things you love out your diet and you just eat? I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of things I loved in the diet, but no salt was definitely the biggest challenge for me. You can eat as much food as you want, but it's only fruit and vegetables. And I thought, if you do that, something like that, you've got to believe in it, or you wouldn't do it. So how much is the belief driving it? And how do you know what you believe? What is in your subconscious mind? Because that's really where it starts and finishes. And we're going to be doing theta healing, theta 1 and 2 down in Cretan with Jennifer Main, because that's all about what subconscious beliefs are holding you back from healing. And it's like a massive mystery puzzle to work out, why is the body malfunctioning? Why is it? And, maybe you can come to somebody like me and go in the bioresonance and the Quest 9 feedback, and we can really start to understand what's going on. Maybe you start praying. Maybe you start letting go. Maybe you change your diet. Maybe you go into the ice. Maybe you start just going into nature and forest bathing. All of these things work. And maybe you do a little of each. But maybe you're still terrified inside. You're still poisoning yourself with the negative feelings and emotions because you don't know how to switch off your nervous system. That's where Gary Young comes in. We had a brilliant workshop on Sunday I was doing heart coherence and the wild energy breath work, and Gary was doing polyvagal theory and exercises. Simple, simple. And that's what I come back to every time, how simple it is. Stop, switch off your nervous system, get into restorative states. But you still have to do the little things that it takes to change your own state. There's no expert, no doctor, no healer, no leader that can do that for you. We have to do it. Now, if I'm around a lot of really conscious, connected people that get it, that see it, that understand the illusionary nature of 3D, the rising above all the blaming, shaming and complaining, and can go, wow, look what's up here, guys. Look what's up here in this place of faith, this place of seeing things in a very, very different, more beautiful way. And when you can get into these expansive, loving states, and you can stay there without getting dragged down by some other well-meaning teacher, healer, leader, doctor, it doesn't matter who it is, what their label is. Just being mindful of who's taking you down and who's taking you up. And all of us have a heart. That's a wee Freudian beautiful slip there. A heart and a part to play. And, you know, when I moved in to help my aunt, I wasn't thinking about healing her. What I was thinking was, what can we do today to make today nicer? Wait a minute till I get my power back on. What can we do to make today nicer? And that's the key, isn't it? Just for today, how are you going to make people feel by what you're saying? It starts with the words. And if you imagine the fascia, this crystalline plasma, and the lymph, the water, they say it's water, but it's not really water, is it? It's liquid that holds information. And if you're not mindful around that energy system that runs through you and all around you, and the microtubules that run through you and all around you, and what you're saying to your cells, and what you're hearing from other people's points of view, filtered through anger, pride, and lust, affecting. So we know when John reads, I'll post a link to this actually. So if I blow on this and invite love, we're going to be doing a webinar for people that supported me and bought the tuner. It's amazing. We're going to be doing a webinar and tuning in, changing our own state with a very, very simple little tool. But you can do it without it as well. It's just easy to do it with it. So when we all tune in into that state, when this is played in water, a 36-pointed star appears. This is the sacred geometry. So these star shapes, these beautiful, and if you know any of Masaru Emoto's work, if you don't, Google hidden messages in water, and how that sound is influencing the shapes in our crystalline structures. So when somebody comes in blaming, shaming, complaining, virtue signaling, you literally shatter the shapes. You come out of tune, you can be flat or you can be sharp. Maybe you get outraged and you want to shout back, or maybe you go into freeze response and you just want to stay away from that energy. And this, I've said it for years, is the big challenge we heal in Scotland. If we cannot manage our own emotional guidance system, if we cannot see when we're in these contracted states, then are we ever going to heal? If we're continuously pumping the stress hormones into the body because we want to bring another one of the apparent others down because we feel we're superior. And if you look at family constellations, they always talk about making you're small and making one person big. And until we're all the same size, and this is really key, until we're all come up to the same size and we can all look forward Stop dragging the past around. They said, she said, I did. And this takes courage, because I know terrible things have happened and people have behaved abominably. And I include myself in that. I look back and I just go, oh, I didn't know. And I'm sure you didn't know either. We didn't know the impact we were having to help somebody heal or to help them die. And, you know, the other thing that I think we really need to be clear about is that death is not a failure. In fact, I think you're probably like me thinking it actually feels quite nice. You watch all these NDEs and you're like, oh, I quite like the look of that. Quite like the sound of that. But, you know, we have a situation where it's not about living or dying. It's about suffering, emotional suffering, the incredible suffering of our people because they don't know how to breathe. They don't know how to let go. They don't know the power within the forest. They don't know the power within the ice bath. They don't know the power within the sea. They don't know the power of the phytoncides that come off the trees. They don't know the power of aromatherapies. They don't know the power of love, because that's ultimately what it is. We can heal ourselves with the 528 frequency, with love. And there's loads of different ways to go about that. And that's why I think we're probably seeking another person. We know when we fall in love how great it feels. And you watch all these Tinder swindler things and you're like, oh, how many people know if I say these lovely things to you, if I tell you everything you want to hear, you'll give me love, you'll give me money. It's really a sad state of affairs, but I think what's happening now is we're starting to see, and that love that we're all seeking, whether it's through a drug, a plant, another person, a glass of wine, a joint, whatever it is, a wee shopping expedition, whatever is our want, food. When we really feel into that and we realise faith, true faith, expands ourselves, opens that gate, allows the toroidal field. Remember, here it is. Allows the toroidal field of energy, of intelligence, the blueprint for health to spin. That is when we heal. Love, it's the frequency of love. And sound can affect our frequency. Some time out, I did a 3-month experiment trial on the PEMF devices years ago and have the huge improvements that people had in their sleep. See if that's the one thing that you improve, your sleep. You're going to have a much, much better health. It's one of the key pillars to healing is quality sleep. And so many people don't have that now. So your choices, when you can get into that state, what diet should you follow? What do you need to let go of? How do you know the trauma's been dissolved? How do we know all that? How can we measure and how do we know what we're doing is working? All of that. Please get in touch if you've had your own healing story. If you would like to be involved in these communities, join the community. It's £1.20 a week to be part of the community. We can put people into groups where you can support each other, because the reality is I've not had the diagnosis or the prognosis, so how do I really know? But I've been close. I've seen the pain, I've seen the suffering, I've seen the fear. So that's the place I come from. And it's not just the person it happens to, it's everybody in the vicinity. And how can we manage that better? Because we can, and I'm pretty sure every medic would say that. How can we change the language that's been used to describe this energy system? You know, how do we know? It was interesting this morning, I was thinking about when my mum was buried during lockdown and my brothers weren't allowed to put my mum into the ground. And I was like, I would 100% have made that happen. And then I'm like, why are you fighting that? What is it in you? Because it was so ridiculous. We're very lucky we had beautiful friends that did it for us, and I'm very grateful to them. But it was the maddest rule I've ever heard in my life. Out at the cemetery, and you're not allowed to do that. We have to do it because what? Somebody up in Komori said. It's always just been in me to question things that don't seem logical and right. And if somebody, and I did it, I got yellow fever and something else when I went to India, and it destroyed my health and my enjoyment of that trip because I was exhausted. I didn't say, what's in that? It never even entered my head. I was 40 years old. I'm now 65 years old and a lot wiser. And a lot of people are not ready to let go of the system. They want to stay in that model. And that's absolutely fine if you feel safe in there. And a lot of people do. They've had great experiences. My friend's just out of the Jubilee. She had a phenomenal experience. But not everybody's having these great experiences. People are starting to question. And as of now, we don't have a place where people can go or free to connect and talk and share ideas and share what they're doing, and starting to feel a different community of believers over here, believers in the innate intelligence within us. So if you're one of them and you're interested in getting involved and you would like to see a much, much more expansive approach to our health, why are we sick? We're poisoned. We know that. The soil's been trashed. There's so many chemicals in our homes and in our houses. Get yourselves onto the Good Food Project. They're doing incredible work. And start to be part of the change. Nobody can control us unless we let them. And if we roll over the law of unintended consequences with democracy, oh no, they wouldn't do that. I talked to my brother who was shafted by the COVID vaccine, and he still believes. And I'm like, wow. So we need to question. It's okay to question. It's okay to go along with it. There's no right, there's no wrong. There's just a different path home. And the path that we're going to co-create for Heal Scotland is a place for believers who want to try different things, who believe in hope, who believe the body is intelligent beyond our wildest dreams. That is what we're going to co-create. So I really hope you'll join us. Let me put the community, for those of you who have not joined the community, who are interested, not in fighting with me, debating, yes. Debating, absolutely, that's what we're doing. Our Fantastic Four talk. This is today October. Yeah, happy October. Our Fantastic Four this October is going to be on faith, Jesus, God, any faith you want to talk about. We're going to be inside the community discussing that. And the reason it's great to have the community is there'll be no trolls in there. There can't be. Anybody who is rude and arrogant will be put out. It's as simple as that. We need to unify. And if you're not ready to unify, it's absolutely not the place for you. But if you are, and I'm not saying we won't have heated debates, and we will, but what's right, what's wrong, what's right for you. But of course, it always comes back to what is your body telling you, your cells, the inner intelligence in you. So have a wonderful day. And remember, share. If you like the content, if you want to get involved, if you've got an incredible business that's already helping people, if you're happy to collaborate and not bring other people that you don't agree with down, then that's the place for you. Huge love and